Kelvin fashion. He didn't keep his word on that. He'd rather spend that money on his side chick. Bought her a Ferrari as a push present, but that car, according to the Daily Mail, got repossessed the day after Wendy announced the divorce. You know you can't afford those type of toys, Kev.
I don't recommend that you work with.
As tensions rise behind the scenes, Sharina Hudson has reportedly drawn a hard line against Kevin. To those close to the situation, she has warned that if Wendy ever allows Kevin back into her life, it could put her entire financial control at serious risk, potentially handing him influence over her fortune once again.
Williams' husband has filed a $260 million lawsuit claiming that Wendy is being held against her will in an illegal guardianship, has caused all sorts.
Right now, there are growing signs that Wendy Williams may soon break free from the strict guardianship that has controlled her personal life and finances for more than 3 years. Behind the scenes, insiders say the situation is rapidly shifting. The original reason she was placed under guardianship was a diagnosis suggesting she suffered from frontotemporal dementia.
All sorts of financial and emotional damage. Problem is, he's divorced from her, and she doesn't like her much.
No, it was not a great
She
divorce.
didn't like him much.
And even though she's had to pay him out a whole lot of money.
A condition that led to heavy restrictions over her independence. But recent medical evaluations have reportedly delivered a stunning twist. According to new test results, there is now no evidence that Wendy ever had that illness in the first place. If that diagnosis proves to be inaccurate, legal experts believe the entire guardianship arrangement could quickly unravel, potentially restoring full control of her life and fortune back to her. Encouraging updates have also come from Wendy's current management team. Her manager recently revealed that she has been gradually regaining strength and showing steady improvement.
Over a lot of years, she doesn't want him a part of this, and you know this straight from the source.
Well, I know it's straight from the source because before I talked to the source, meaning Wendy, it was just apparent to me. I mean, he's filing this as Kevin Hunter, her friend. I mean, when does a friend have standing to file a 200? She had no idea.
As time passes. At the same time, television executives have quietly kept the door wide open for her comeback. Sources say the industry would welcome Wendy back to television whenever she feels ready, and many believe daytime TV has struggled to fill the massive void she left behind. For years, her sharp humor, fearless commentary, and unmistakable presence made her one of the most dominant voices on daytime television.
A shout out to my husband. I'm still wearing my ring. He's my best friend. He's my lover. He's all this and he's all that. I know what you've been seeing, and I knew what the streets have been talking about.
Even now, countless viewers argue that no host has been able to truly replace the energy she brought to the screen. If Wendy does return, the impact could be enormous. A comeback from a personality as influential as her could generate massive ratings, renewed advertising deals.
I am still very much in love with my husband, and anybody who's been married for 5 minutes or 500 years, you know, marriages have ebbs and flows. Marriages are not easy. Don't ask me about mine until you see this gone. And it ain't going anywhere.
And a wave of media attention worth millions. Interestingly, the timing may be perfect. The talk show hosted by Sherri Shepherd was recently canceled, leaving a valuable daytime television slot suddenly open. That empty space has fueled speculation across the entertainment industry that Wendy could step back in and reclaim the spotlight she once dominated.
She is tired of hiding the relationship, okay? She's tired of being a side bitch. She's tired of having abortions and shit like that. And she just wants Wendy out of the picture so that she can live her life out and free with her man and not have to sneak and meet Kevin in random places and shit.
But just as talk of her potential return started gaining serious momentum, another familiar name reappeared in the headlines: her ex-husband and former manager, Kevin Hunter. Reports claim Kevin has once again been trying to position himself as someone Wendy can rely on during this pivotal moment in her life. He has reportedly argued that she will need trusted people around her who truly understand both her personal struggles and the complex business side of her career. Kevin insists that no one knows the inner workings of her empire better than he does, pointing out that he played a major role in managing her career during the years she built her incredibly successful talk show brand. However, many fans and observers remain extremely skeptical of his motives. Kevin's history with Wendy continues to raise serious doubts. For over a decade during their marriage, he secretly maintained a long-term relationship with another woman. The betrayal became a massive scandal when it was revealed that he had even fathered a child with that longtime mistress while still married to Wendy. The situation devastated her publicly and personally. Despite the turmoil that followed their divorce, Kevin still attempted to pursue significant alimony payments, even as Wendy was dealing with mounting health issues and complicated legal battles. In recent years, Kevin has repeatedly attempted to reinsert himself into Wendy's life and legal affairs. At one point, he even claimed he was stepping in to protect her well-being. He filed a staggering $250 million lawsuit arguing that her guardianship arrangement was abusive and harmful. Within that legal action, he asked the court to grant him authority to manage her finances and affairs instead. But the judge swiftly rejected that request, ruling that Kevin was not an appropriate person to take control of her guardianship. Even after that courtroom defeat, insiders say Kevin hasn't completely disappeared from the situation. Some believe he may still be hoping that Wendy feels a lingering emotional bond with him after everything they went through together. Adding even more intrigue to the story, rumors have circulated that his former mistress eventually left him once his financial situation began to decline. If those reports are accurate, it could explain why Kevin is suddenly attempting to reconnect just as Wendy appears to be on the verge of regaining control over her life, career, and fortune. Now the question that has everyone watching closely is simple but powerful. Will Wendy allow Kevin Hunter back into her world once again? Or will she finally close that chapter of her life for good and move forward without him? Sharina Hudson believes that if Wendy Williams ever allows Kevin Hunter back into her life, it could become one of the biggest mistakes of her entire career. Sharina says she understands Kevin's real intentions because she was personally caught in the middle of the situation years ago. She first crossed paths with Kevin through Charlemagne the God while Kevin and Wendy were still working together and publicly appearing as a strong couple. At the time, Sharina was simply chasing her own ambitions of becoming a chef and dreamed of launching a fleet of food trucks across the city. But everything changed once Kevin became deeply involved in her life. According to Sharina, Kevin assured her she would never have to worry about money, and he backed up those promises with luxury gifts, expensive jewelry, cars, and even a house, all allegedly funded by Wendy's earnings. Reports suggest that whenever Kevin couldn't access enough money directly, he would secretly take valuables or sell items behind Wendy's back to maintain Sharina's lavish lifestyle. Wendy reportedly had no idea what was happening because she trusted Kevin completely and was deeply in love with him. And even if questions ever started to arise, Kevin had already arranged legal safeguards that allowed him to claim certain assets were shared marital property, or that Wendy had approved them during moments when she was intoxicated or vulnerable. Insiders also allege that Kevin operated a charity organization that may have been used as a cover for moving money around and secretly buying expensive gifts for his mistress. Meanwhile, whenever Kevin and Wendy traveled, Sharina allegedly followed behind with her own bodyguard, so she would never accidentally cross paths with Wendy. At the time, Sharina didn't question Kevin's behavior because he kept promising that he would eventually leave Wendy and marry her instead. For years, she believed it was only a matter of time before she became his wife, which kept her emotionally invested even as the relationship dragged on. But after nearly a decade of waiting, doubts finally began to creep in, and Sharina started questioning everything Kevin had promised her. Now, looking back at the entire situation, She warns that if Wendy ever lets Kevin return to her life, she could end up walking straight back into the very same trap. According to reports shared by Sharina Hudson, the relationship between her and Kevin Hunter was far darker than most people realized. She claims that before eventually giving birth to their daughter, she became pregnant by Kevin several times, but each time he allegedly pressured her to terminate the pregnancy so that the secret affair would never reach Wendy Williams. Determined to keep Wendy completely unaware, Kevin reportedly insisted the situation be handled quietly and quickly. Eventually, the constant deception and broken promises pushed Sharina to her limit. Feeling betrayed and desperate to force the truth into the open, she reportedly leaked a vacation photo of herself with Kevin to a media outlet. Her hope was simple: that public exposure would finally trigger the divorce Kevin had been promising for years, allowing them to build the life together he claimed he wanted. But that move ended up revealing something much more disturbing about Kevin's true intentions. It became painfully clear that he had never actually planned to leave Wendy at all. After all, Wendy's success and wealth were the foundation of a luxurious lifestyle he enjoyed. Instead, Kevin allegedly kept Sharina emotionally invested with promises of a future that never existed while continuing to spend Wendy's money behind the scenes. To make matters worse, reports suggest Kevin even planted misleading stories in the media claiming he and Wendy were reconciling, all as a tactic to pressure her into canceling their divorce proceedings. Sharina's final breaking point reportedly came when the money began drying up and her relationship with Kevin started falling apart. Hoping to reset her life, she attempted to return home to her mother, but during that time she claims to have uncovered something deeply alarming. According to those close to the situation, she believed Kevin had been secretly harming Wendy's health just enough to keep her dependent while still forcing her to continue working. At one point, concern reportedly grew so serious that someone contacted authorities out of fear for Wendy's safety. However, Kevin allegedly remained constantly by her side, making it extremely difficult for investigators to question her privately. Over the years, there were also whispers of past physical abuse, though Wendy reportedly protected Kevin and refused to expose those details publicly. Now, as Wendy prepares to reclaim her place in television, many believe allowing Kevin back into her life would be unthinkable. Sharina, who once believed every promise he made, now appears determined to expose the truth after years of manipulation. Kevin may have assumed she would remain silent and under his influence forever, but that assumption may have been his biggest mistake. As the possibility of losing Wendy's support, love, and financial security becomes real, Sharina reportedly seems ready to ensure he finally faces consequences for his actions. For Wendy, this moment could represent a powerful turning point, a chance to regain full control of her career, protect her finances, and remove toxic influences from her life. Fans are now hoping to see Wendy rise stronger than ever while those responsible for the years of deception are finally held accountable. Kevin had countless opportunities to build his own future honestly, yet chose manipulation and betrayal instead. Now the narrative appears to be shifting, and many believe the reckoning he once avoided may finally be approaching. The question now echoes loudly among supporters: should Wendy keep Kevin out of her life for good? Sharina's warning suggests that decades of alleged lies and manipulation make him far too dangerous to trust again. Wendy's comeback could symbolize freedom, empowerment, and a fresh chapter without interference from her controversial past. And for Kevin, it may finally be time to face the consequences of every decision he made.